For 57 years, we believed something simple, that going to the moon was dangerous, but coming back was the safe part. And that belief came from Apollo 11 moon landing, a mission so risky the president had a speech ready in case the astronauts never returned. But here's the twist no one expected. In 2026, during Artemis II, 4 astronauts didn't fear the journey to the moon. They feared the way back. Not because space is unknown, but because something we thought we understood quietly failed. A single component, one that stands between life and vaporization. The heat shield, and what NASA discovered before launch, should have stopped the mission entirely, but it didn't. Instead, they flew anyway. And for 6 minutes during re-entry, no one on Earth could help them. This isn't the story of a mission gone wrong. It's the story of a mission that almost did, and why Artemis II might have been more dangerous than Apollo 11 moon landing. Let me explain. For decades, we've romanticized the Apollo era. Astronauts sitting on top of rockets with the power of nuclear bombs flying into complete uncertainty. And yes, Apollo 11 was incredibly dangerous. If the lunar module engine failed, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin would have died on the moon. No rescue, no backup, just silence. But here's what most people don't realize. When it came time to return to Earth, Apollo had confidence in one thing: the heat shield. It was tested, understood, and built specifically for that mission. And when Apollo capsules hit the atmosphere at 25,000 miles per hour, they performed exactly as expected. No surprises. Now fast forward to 2026. Artemis II wasn't landing on the moon. No complex docking, no surface operations, just a loop around the moon and back. Sounds safer, right? It wasn't, because this time, NASA had already seen the failure happen. During Artemis I, the capsule returned successfully. Everything looked perfect until engineers examined the heat shield. It wasn't intact. It was damaged, cracked, pitted, chunks missing, over 100 unexpected erosion points. And the worst part, the models didn't predict any of it. The physics didn't match reality. That changes everything. Because space missions don't fail when you expect danger. They fail when your assumptions are wrong. The problem came down to something incredibly technical, but deadly simple in consequence. The material of the heat shield, called avcoat, was supposed to breathe. During re-entry, it burns away slowly, releasing gas. That gas needs to escape. If it doesn't, pressure builds, and pieces of the shield can explode outward. Apollo's heat shield allowed this, but Orion's version didn't. It was redesigned, reformulated, manufactured differently. And during a maneuver called skip re-entry, where the capsule briefly exits and re-enters the atmosphere, the outer layer sealed shut. The inside stayed hot. Gas built up and the shield began to break apart. Now here's the decision that defines this entire mission. NASA had 2 options: delay the mission for years and redesign the heat shield, or fly with the known issue and adjust the re-entry path to avoid triggering the failure. They chose to fly. Instead of fixing the problem, they changed the conditions. A shorter, shallower re-entry. Keep the heat shield hotter for longer so it doesn't seal shut. It's a solution, but it's not a fix. It's like knowing your car brakes fail on steep hills. So you just avoid hills. The risk doesn't disappear, it just changes shape. And on April 10th, 2026, that decision was tested at nearly 25,000 miles per hour. Orion's spacecraft hit Earth's atmosphere. Temperatures reached over 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The air turned into plasma. Communications went dark for 6 minutes. Complete silence. No telemetry, no contact. Just 4 astronauts, falling through fire, Everything depended on whether the heat shield behaved the way NASA hoped it would. Not knew, hoped. Then, signal returned, parachutes deployed, the capsule slowed, and finally, splashdown. The crew survived. Mission success. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Success doesn't always mean the risk was acceptable. Sometimes, it just means you got away with it. Because the same models that failed to predict the damage on Artemis I were used again to justify Artemis II. That's what worried experts. Not that the mission would fail, but that it would succeed. For the wrong reasons. There's a term for this in engineering, normalization of risk. When something doesn't fail, you start believing it can't. Until one day, it does. We've seen this before. Space Shuttle Columbia disaster, a known issue, repeated flights, assumptions that everything was fine until it wasn't. That's the shadow hanging over Artemis II, not what happened, but what could have. Apollo 11 faced the unknown. Artemis II faced something more dangerous, the partially known. A problem identified, but not fully understood. And that creates a different kind of risk, one that feels manageable, one that feels controlled. Until reality proves otherwise, the mission worked, the astronauts came home, and NASA will build a better heat shield for the next flight. But for those 13 minutes of re-entry, Artemis II was balancing on a razor's edge, not because we didn't know enough, but because we thought we did. And that might be the most dangerous place to be in space, because the scariest missions aren't always the boldest ones. Sometimes, they're the ones everyone believes are safe.